So let's move on to the wide receiver position. We'll go to starts and sits for Week 14 for the wide receivers. We first have our boy DJ Moore over here. I think DJ Moore is a beautiful start. You can go ahead and start that man. Panthers going up against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, obviously DJ Moore is probably in most of your lineups, but I just wanted to give you a little more confidence.
Sure.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
More, yeah.
Little DJ confidence.
But yeah, DJ Moore, I definitely like this matchup. 7 or more targets in every single game. I mean, when you're looking at just like consistent volume in the passing game, I mean, he's up there. He's top tier when it comes to targets. I mean, 7th most targets for wide receivers. He's got a 28% target share on the season so far, which is the 5th most for wide receivers. Coming off a bye, extra time to prepare. So I think that, they get it right. You know what I'm saying? They fired Joe Brady. I think they're trying to figure out what strengths, Cam Newton has, to utilize him. Obviously DJ Moore's the guy. It's not, Robbie Anderson, even though they paid him a contract extension in the offseason, they just don't utilize him. Terrace Marshall just hasn't been able to get it going. I mean, they have no tight end. I don't even know who their tight end is. Ian Thomas. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's out. So it's like if they're going to throw the ball to anybody, and someone's got to put up some fantasy points for this receiving core, or at least in the passing game, it's going to be DJ Moore here. And for what it's worth, the Falcons have allowed the 4th highest completion percentage. I think I said that earlier when I was talking about Cam Newton. So, Cam Newton, even if he's not the greatest quarterback, Falcons defense not very good at stopping the pass. So
they're not good at stopping much, huh?
Yeah. Dial up some DJ Moore.
Yeah, I like it. DJ Moore, start him. Week 14, start that man. All right, Jarvis Landry, that's your boy, dude.
Juice.
He's play for the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I'm up against the Ravens defense. Ravens defense, it seems scary. So why are you super excited about this one?
I mean, yeah, the Ravens defense, when you think of it, it's scary, but I mean, they're just not the same. I mean, they lost Marcus Peters in the beginning of the year in training camp, torn ACL, and they just recently lost Marlon Humphreys as well. He's on the IR. I think he's out for this season as well. So losing their top 2 corners there. I mean, after that, it's like, yeah, you got, I think his name's Tavon Young. He's a decent corner in his own right, but, nothing to shy away from, especially for a guy like Jarvis Landry, who I think is one of the, better route runners in the league. And then another guy who is, once you get the football in his hands, he's one of the best receivers in terms of yak, and just, breaking tackles and making people miss. But, a couple weeks ago, back in Week 12 when they played the Ravens, he got you 6 catches for 10 targets for 111 yards. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we were saying with DJ Moore. This passing attack is going to move through Jarvis Landry. There's no more Odell. Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones is there, but he gets you like 4 or 5 targets a game, if that.
If he doesn't get you in the end zone, you're not happy.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really utilize the tight ends. I think Njoku's out this game, so maybe Austin Hooper's a sneaky start if you're really desperate, if you feel like gambling. But
if you're a gambling man.
But at the end of the day, it's like it's Jarvis Landry. That's the guy. That's the go-to guy. That's Baker's guy. So, yeah, I definitely like Jarvis Landry this week. I'd be dialing him up with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
To kind of replicate what he did in Week 12.
Especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah, especially in PPR leagues.
Okay, let's go on to our boy Hunter Renfrow. We talk about Hunter Renfrow every week. Hey, let's share some good stats because you were talking to me off air about Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, I had to throw Hunter Renfrow in here because I just feel like he's still kind of getting the recognition, but he's not.
Hello there. Hey, listen, right now, I know we talk about him a lot, but Underdog Fantasy, it has a really good deal right now. It's a player pick'em app. It's a DFS app. It's very similar to DraftKings or FanDuel, but this is better. It's brand new, very easy to use interface. But if you download the app right now and use promo code AVG, they used to hook up with $10 with your first deposit. Right now, they're matching you up to $100. So if you put $100 in the app right now on your first deposit, you will get an extra $100 to play around with. They got player pick'ems. You can even do a private match inside Underdog Fantasy. It's pretty dope. So you can challenge people and whatnot. You don't have to maintain a team for all year. So you can just draft your team, play that week, draft the next team next week. You could do it daily in a Thursday night game as well. So go check it out. Tons of prizes. Free $100. Come on, sign up. It's the best. And use promo code AVG. Now back to your video.
I mean, I was looking at his start percentage. I think it was 60%, 65%. And it's just at this point, what are we doing, people? Like, I mean, he needs to be started in 100% of leagues. I mean, Hunter Renfrow is just balling. Someone kind of had a funny nickname for him. I thought it was pretty comical, especially for where we live in Las Vegas and for where the Raiders are, Las Vegas. But when you think of what he plays, Hunter Renfrow, he plays in the slot. They called him the slot machine. And I thought that was funny. A pretty accurate, nickname for what he is,
good.
Playing in the slot, just being a PPR machine that he is. I mean, 10 or more PPR points in 10 of the 12 games this season. He's actually had 16 or more PPR points in 4 of his last 5 games since their Week 8 bye. I mean, you just want a guy who's just going to, I always say it, a guy who's not going to come out and maybe win you your game, but a guy who's just going to give you a safe floor. But for what it's worth, the last 2 games, back-to-back 100-yard receiving yard games, and since, Henry Ruggs, it's unfortunate what happened with him and his situation with the car accident and the DUI, and then, you got Waller who missed last week, and we don't know if he's going to play this week either. It's like,
Hunter Renfrow's the last man standing.
He's Sid from Toy Story's safety blanket, and, a guy who's just, been getting 6, 7, 8 catches every single week. It's just a safe, consistent floor. Like, he's not going to give you a dud. And, like I said, the last couple of games, he's really been booming. So if he has that 100-yard receiving upside, I mean, it's like, his floor just went up even higher than it already was. So, yeah.
It's like if you could get the Cooper Cup of the Raiders,
yeah,
sounds pretty good to me.
For sure. Definitely. Dolphinitely.
Let's go on to the next one here. We got start that man, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Are you starting that man? Or are you sitting that boy?
Yeah, this one's more of like a sleeper start for me here. It's like if you want to what does Buzz Lightyear say?
Take
Reach for the stars. Reach for the sky.
And break away. Yeah.
But yeah, MBS, the last 2 weeks, 10 targets and 9 targets. I kind of like it a little bit more because Randall Cobb is out. He's out for, I think it's a core muscle injury, so they don't know how long he's going to be out. But he's out indefinitely, Randall Cobb is. So that kind of opens the door for a guy like MVS. And, I mean, just going off the trend of 9 targets and 10 targets, it seems like Rodgers is looking for him, consistently. No Robert Tonyan, no Randall Cobb. It's you have Alan Lazard there who's going to get you, his 4 or 5 targets, but it's like it's Devontae Adams, and then it seems to be MVS right now. So, yeah. And MVS is like the big play home run guy, so it all takes is like one pass, and he can get you a 50-yard touchdown. So he's a boom bust guy, but if he's going to see those targets, I'm not mad at taking a swing and a shot at him this week.
Yeah. Kind of crazy because I never really liked MVS, but I'm totally with you. If you're in this pinch this week, and I could totally support it. Sleeper start. Don't start this guy over like Hunter Renfrow, but you know what I mean? I just don't want to give people the wrong idea sometimes. But let's go on to the next one here. We got Julio Jones. Are you starting Julio Jones this week?
I mean, yeah, it's crazy that we just have to say start Julio Jones. I feel like the whole reason why we even like started this podcast, I feel like back in the day, is because we were like sick of like
listening
watching
to
ESPN and NFL Network, and they'd be like, start Julio Jones,
Yeah, no shit.
Start Adrian Peterson, and it's like, dude, no shit. Like
back in the day,
yeah, like I draft those guys in the first round. Like I'm not gonna sit them,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I mean Julio Jones, they opened the 21-day window for him to return from the IR. He's practiced the last couple days, so they have the opportunity to take him off the IR, and he could play this week. If he plays, he's in my lineup. If he's healthy enough to be on the football field, then he's healthy enough to be in my fantasy lineup, and I would have 100% confidence in him in starting him this week. I mean, A.J. Brown is still out on IR with a chest injury, and it's like they just don't have anybody. I mean, who's their tight end? Who are these other receivers that Tannehill's been throwing the ball to? I mean, Chester Rogers and I don't even know half these guys. I can't even pronounce the other guy's name.
Well, don't they have what? What's his name? Never mind. Go ahead.
Nobody. Exactly. Yeah. Who do they have? They have nobody. So if Julio Jones is on the field for the Tennessee Titans, he's in my lineup. It's just easy. It's easy as that.
Yeah. I'm with it. Start Julio Jones if he plays this week for sure. Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, All of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.